Hey Albert, how are you doing? Metaverse podcast
Hey,
number 5.
doing well. Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Got into the new office at Honeywell. I have a full view of the Bank of America Panther Stadium in Charlotte, so I'm super hyped for that. Like, it easily saves an hour of my commute each day. I can now walk to work, like scooter to work. So,
Yeah, that is awesome. That's a new office that they opened.
it's a new office. It's their corporate headquarters has now moved to Charlotte. I'm not sure if it's their
Mm,
corporate, but like Honeywell has different lines of business. So SPS is Solutions Productivity Services.
hmm.
So it could just be that office, but I'm pretty sure it's both. But yeah,
Nice.
I texted you an image earlier. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
I'll give you a tour later. Okay, so first topic. This one is kind of from last week where we were talking about like vertically integrating the game companies so that they're well positioned into the metaverse. Um, have you taken a look at this chart? I guess there's like 6 major players. There's Microsoft, Take Two Interactive, Ubisoft, Sony, Tencent, EA, Embracer Group. I've never heard of them, but what are some people that what are some companies from them that we might have heard of? So Gearbox Entertainment is Gears of War. There we go. That's them. The rest of these companies, no idea from. I never heard of them. Okay, but Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, so this one shows Blizzard under the Microsoft umbrella. So I guess it's very recent. But here's the thing, right? Like, so you have headset manufacturers. Microsoft has the HoloLens, and they might eventually have their virtual reality headset. I don't know if they currently have one. Need to, keep that in the back of my mind. But um, if you are building your own like Android ecosystem, you want default apps, right? So Microsoft not only has done like the Apple thing of they've gotten the headset, now they're kind of building up the OS and apps, and then the next thing is to bring in the content. So they have the content now and they have the headset, but they don't have the universe. So some of these are just game companies, like Ubisoft, for example, is purely a game studio from my knowledge. Same thing with Take Two Interactive, and I guess Embracer Group, but like and EA as well, right? Like EA Entertainment. Um, but then you have Tencent. Are you familiar with Tencent?
I think they make a lot more than just games as well.
Mm-hmm. Um, I'm pretty sure Tencent owns Epic Games. Don't quote me on that.
That
I'm
makes
like
sense.
they own Riot, so Valorant. Um,
Right.
so Tencent might own like 50% of Epic Games or something like that, and they're suing Apple. But Tencent also releases their own hardware products, so it's really Microsoft, Sony, and Tencent right now, and I guess like
Yeah.
Apple, Google too. But they have yet to buy game studios.
Yeah. Yep. So how do you think, like, like let's say you're Blizzard, for example, you
Hmm.
got acquired by like Microsoft, right? How does like if you work there, how does your day-to-day job kind of change? Do you think it changes a lot? Is it just
Hmm.
not so much? I mean, obviously you're developing something for Microsoft now.
So from what I know, I guess maybe we'll talk about compensation first. So game studios notoriously pay pretty terribly for the
Yeah,
amount of work hours and stuff that you have to keep in. Microsoft also not the best like tech company like total comp wise, right?
yeah,
I think they were offering me like 180, and Google for the same position might have been doing like 350. So like not
yeah,
even same ballpark. But that being said, game studios are worse pay than Microsoft. So I think if you can transition to like a Microsoft employee, like a new one, you're going to be paid more traditionally. So it's kind of like a boost for the industry. Better working conditions too, I imagine, right?
100%. Yeah, I assume so, especially under Microsoft. The work-life balance is pretty good.
This was actually one of my interview questions at Capital One. Like, imagine that you had a takeover, and they actually did this with ING Direct back in the day. They were
Oh
like,
yeah, the case study. Yep.
yeah, the case study. I Either I aced it or I did it wrong. People will watch this and tell me. I basically said that you would fire all the redundant people, but otherwise you'd keep things the same. And from the company that you bought, you'd take kind of like the best systems and the best talent and keep them within like the core. And then once like the shell of Blizzard is left over in this case, right? You just spin them
Yeah.
off
Yep.
because you don't need the majority of Blizzard. Like you don't want all that. You just want the best and brightest.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, if you're, that makes a lot of sense for actually growing a company. That's
Hmm.
probably a good way to do it.
So, if you were like an investor and you saw this consolidation of companies, right, like vertically integrating, would you
Yeah.
buy stock in EA just expecting them, like, someone to buy them?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like,
Because right now,
who are
EA
the,
owns
yeah,
like the.
who can buy these companies? Let's think about this. Like, I don't think Apple buys companies of this size. I've never seen Apple make a huge multi billion dollar acquisition. They typically go for like 50 to 100 million, maybe like 300 million sometimes. Yeah,
Yep.
for Apple, they really want the technology and they like take the minds from the startup essentially and integrate the product.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll figure out the next acquisition target. Roblox.
Are
Um,
they just standalone? Like,
Roblox is owned standalone company. So I actually bought I think one or three shares. I forget how many. This was based off Nancy Pelosi's stock purchases. She
oh,
bought
yep, yep.
Roblox. I saw a Wall Street Bets post down 15% after hours. I hate everything. She was wrong. She got bad information. She's, like imagine she was going to
Yeah.
pass some legislation based off of this tip. She's now going to do the opposite. That's how we know.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
No, but honestly though, like I think that's a pretty good bet just on the fundamentals itself because they've been growing extremely fast. And do you know anyone who personally plays Roblox?
Some kid back in high school played it, and he was the
Okay,
weird kid.
so minimal, very minimal.
Hmm.
But apparently it's huge. It's like bigger than how Minecraft was when we were like 13, 14, 15,
Hmm.
which is so weird because I don't hear anything about it. But apparently it's growing like at a huge pace. And actually the thing that they have going for them is that their players like make games within Roblox.
Kind of like Gary's
So
mod, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. It's like Gary's mod. So like
Hmm.
they probably are saving a ton of money just not having to pay to like create games because they're like player created. It's like
Hmm.
a pre-metaverse.
I can think of a lot of things like that, whether it's like Halo Forge, but even Decentraland. Like, think about like the people that just made this virtual world and they own all this land and they don't have to
Yeah.
do anything else after that other than maintain the servers. It's
Yep.
actually crazy.
No, exactly, exactly. You make a
Um,
platform for people to build on, and they build on it. It sounds like a formula to follow.
all right, we're gonna jump to probably the next topic. I think we talked about gaming enough, so we're gonna talk about the headsets that you can use to play the games, right? Um, this is like a in-depth post of how Magic Leap is doing what they're doing, and more importantly, how it differs from the competition. So they first increased the field of vision. Imagine like this entire cell phone. Imagine it was transparent first of all, right? The field of vision, so like the area that you could actually see AR content is maybe just like that tiny square. Um, so they've increased that by like 30%. So it's still not the entire like lens, but it's good. And in addition, they've increased the pixel area. For whatever reason, they had the option between going wider this way or horizontally, and they decided to go horizontally in terms of like the increase. They didn't like increase proportionally. They just like thought. Um, so there's like a bunch of other things. There's like new architecture that they're using essentially. How how do I explain this? So the way these headsets work is kind of like a laser projector, but also nothing like a laser projector. So how the original Leap system worked is it would take white light, separate it into the three component colors RGB, and it might have multiple waveguides or sorry, it would have one single waveguide, and it would basically have to beam everything super quick, right? And that kind of limited you on how quick it could go. There's something called pixel shifting that projectors currently do. So you can basically take a 2K image, and if you pixel shift everything slightly to the right, it makes it look like a 4K image because it's just doing it in the same frame rate. So Magic Leap is kind of like using that same technique now of pixel shifting, from my understanding of this, right? And I think like the interesting part for me about all this is the hardware is being built. Like a company has to make this hardware. Like forget Magic Leap, someone has to manufacture the raw glass and the raw components. So it's not like Magic Leap has built these from scratch. They're taking something else on the existing market already. So, oh, here's a. If you keep scrolling down, this kind of shows you the addressable area. I don't know if you can. Yeah, so the HoloLens 1 is that inside red. The HoloLens 2 is blue. The Magic Leap 1 was comparable to the HoloLens, but the Magic Leap 2 beats the shit out of the HoloLens 2. Right? And there were actually rumors going around a week and a half ago before the Microsoft execs put a stop to it, saying that HoloLens 3 was canceled or on the back burner for whatever reason. I was just like internally screaming, no, that's one of the coolest things they've made. If Microsoft hired me even at lower pay, I would go work on the HoloLens. I don't care. It's yeah. And if you keep going down further, it kind of shows you how the projections are done. So where is it? We're looking at the Magic Leap 1 optical path. Okay, so this is what I mean about breaking up the component colors, right? And like I guess like there's a rotating mirror. So if you don't know what a tourbillon is, okay, so hold on. Maybe you'll want to Google it, like for a watch. Tour billion. I completely butchered it, but that's don't worry about it. Probably use Google for this. Where's like I'm trying to find like a really good video. How does that look? Nope, that's also trash. Okay, here we go. I can send it in Discord chat for you. Okay. Do you see that center thing in the watch that's basically spinning? So that is a tourbillon, and you can imagine that that's essentially a mirror, and as it's spinning, it goes to different angles, right? And so light would bounce off and hit different spots of the lens, and that's how they essentially get that picture. There are certain there's certain limitations to this. Like, so obviously you can't go past the speed of light, which means that it can only hit so many amount of pixels, and you start running into like friction and ball bearing problems and a whole bunch of other stuff. So this is Microsoft's solution for the HoloLens 2, and why I don't think the HoloLens 3 will be a big improvement unless they have like 2 or 3 of these. They've really started running into the limitations. So the Magic Leap instead, right, it has basically like these micro LED type things, and they're pixel shifting these micro LEDs by some vibration type thing. So instead of bouncing it off a mirror, they're actually shifting the lens ever so slightly and turning the pixels on and off for the light. Yeah. It's extremely complicated. I'm not an expert. Please read this very technical article. I'm not even gonna pretend to know more than that. But okay, so I'm just gonna stop talking about this. So we want to talk about animals. I would like a NFT token where it's like an AI animal that I can have on my Decentraland plot of land, and and I can like kill the animal in real life, and that's how I like. You know how it's like a trophy kind of type thing, right? Um, okay, we probably have to cut that part out. People are gonna get mad at that. I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't worry. We do not kill endangered animals on the show. I don't even know where to get them. Only in the metaverse. Even that would probably really anger people. Could you imagine like having police in Decentraland and then just going and shooting your dog, even in virtual reality? That would be great. It's terrible. So there's only 447 Baltic porpoises left in the wild, so they're only making 447 of these NFTs. Apparently for that animal. So I don't know. I think it's for a good cause, right? Like, can I get a tax write off? Elon Musk just donated 5.7 billion. How much of that was to buy NFT animal tokens? Okay. Let's move on. How? I guess we'll go to Bud Light first because then we'll go to the main topic. The Bud Light one, they basically had like a promotion during their Super Bowl campaign with like an ad. If you visited a Bud Light shop, store, something, bar in Decentraland or Sandbox, I forget which one, you could essentially get a beer NFT.
Okay, I don't know. Like, I'm assuming if you're in Decentraland, probably with a VR headset, and there's a Bud Light like
Mm-hmm.
virtually in front of you, you're probably gonna maybe want one, like in real life.
Okay. So other things I've
That's my
seen,
argument for it.
there's a law firm opening up a law office in Decentraland. That article just came out. Um,
Are they? Is it a functioning law firm?
yes, it's a functioning law firm, and I guess I don't. Who knows who their clients are going to be? Maybe they're like positioning it as we'll help you secure your metaverse thing, or we'll help you with crypto loss. Who knows? The other thing that I saw for like businesses in virtual reality is JP Morgan and Chase has a lounge, and apparently Jamie Dimons, their CEO, his portrait is just in the lounge. That
That's
I wonder if they ran it by him, like, hey, would you like your photo in the virtual reality lounge? And
yeah, that's the thing. I don't think that was really. I don't think that would be his decision. I mean, how old is he now?
oh god, old enough to have a heart attack. He's
Yeah,
actually one of
yeah.
my favorite CEOs.
Is he?
I don't know why. I know nothing about the guy, but I think he has a cool name, and he runs Chase Bank, which is my favorite bank. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah. I can't argue with that.
Okay. Um, no, but like other, would you set up a Decentraland business, and if so, what would it be? Right, like
Yeah.
I think online banking makes sense. Like, hey, let me go into the store and maybe
Oh,
interact with
yeah.
a teller, right? But like, what other services can you provide? Like, you can't be an ice cream vendor or a hot dog vendor in Decent.
Right. Anything that's
Hmm.
like consumable, I think is off the. I mean, it's. I mean, we're literally talking about the Bud Light article, so I guess it's not off the table. But I think
Hmm.
there's more of just like advertisement for something that already exists versus like
We
you coming in and
well, we talked about Warner Music, right? And how they did like bought concert venue land in Decentraland.
yeah,
So that's also fair. But I guess my thing is, what businesses can you have?
yeah. It's a good thought, and I think it's good to get in early too. But in terms of like to answer your question, I'd say I think something cool to do that I would have no idea how to do would
Hmm.
be to do like a recording studio, like a music studio. Whereas like you walk into the studio and you can boot up Ableton or something like that. Blanking on the other ones, but yeah,
Dude, that's such a good
yeah,
idea. Imagine, so you know how rappers have like those props and things and stuff, right?
yes,
So imagine a virtual reality set, essentially like a movie studio or something, and you already have all the NFT props you need.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Yeah, I mean, you could do a video in there too. I mean, you could
Hmm.
do a
That would
yeah,
actually that would make a lot of sense.
yeah,
Okay. Someone steal that, please, and then
yeah.
tell me
Please
about it so I
do.
can go like, damn, I should have done that. Okay. So onto our main topic, which um, is virtual is virtual real estate speculation spoiling the metaverse, right? I'll tell you two things, okay? Um, One, I went to Decentraland yesterday for the first time. So you are correct. The cheapest plot of land is basically 10 to 15,000, and it's not in a good area. Like it's far away from the center, which I think is one of the metrics, right, of how good land is. Now, I went to Decentraland, and my immediate first thought was, how do I buy land? I'm not joking. Like I kind of that's how I know the price is. I kind of was like, what is the cheapest plot of land I can buy? I'm convinced. I After this phone call, I'm like, I'm gonna buy some virtual land. Apparently, like it's hard to buy multiple plots of land. You have to keep in mind, like I invested 700,000 to Charlotte real estate, and I made close to like $1 million profit. So like I've not only got the 700,000 back, I got the additional $1 million profit. Last week I was saying this is completely a scam and everything, and now I'm ready to not only buy virtual land, I'm ready to buy virtual. How quickly things change. Okay, next podcast. Thanks, Albert. Have a good day.